This is Jonathan Agger of HIF Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Izzy Asif here in London ahead of his GBM show this Friday night, live on DAZN. Izzy, you're probably the busiest man in boxing the last few days. Saw your Instagram story a few days ago. I thought it was April Fool's joke, but it wasn't. Hopefully Shakan Pitters is alright. Just give us an update on his health.
Yeah, he's good. He had issues with some medical issues that I don't really want to disclose. It's personal to him and his family, but the most important thing, he's well, he's happy, he's healthy. I won't say he's happy, but he's healthy. That's most important, and he's back out of hospital. Listen, sometimes the promoter, when you get these calls, you think, oh, the fighter's having second thoughts. Not with Shakan Pitters. This was a massive opportunity for him, and he wanted this. He worked so hard. He tragically lost his father recently, and I know how tough he took that. So I just wanted to be there for him as a promoter. So listen, it happens. And all I asked him, are you all right? And I said, yes. I go, forget everything else. Forget boxing. Are you all right? Your health okay? Because that's the most important thing, isn't it? Let's be honest. Boxing's, yeah, we get indulged in it, we get engraved in it because we're boxing people. But really and truly, when you put it into perspective of life, it's nothing, is it? Health is everything. What's a great saying? You have 1,000 problems until you have a health problem. There's only one problem then. And that's why I said, Shakan, I go, look, as long as you're healthy, you're all right. Your fight gets cancelled. If a show got cancelled, it doesn't make a difference. It's really minute in the whole kind of outlook of life and world. And listen, he's all right, but what a fighter we got. What a replacement. Wow. I'm excited about it, really am.
Now, when you're going through situations like this, you, as you said in the press conference, you need a fighter on weight and ready to go and a good name, I guess. So how did you come up with this?
Right, first of all, I got the phone call on Monday, 6 o'clock. And obviously I was celebrating Eid. I've been fasting as a Ramadan for 30 days, so I'm 29 days. I'm excited. I've got the month done with. I'm there. So I'm munching away on my first bit of meal, and what the phone goes. And as soon as it went, you know that feeling when you just know something's not right. I just knew it weren't right. And then I had obviously my family, my kids and my uncles and my father, and everybody around the table. There's a big old party with a big feast on. And I had my phone on charge, had my AirPods on, and trying to negotiate fights. And my family were looking like, what is he doing here? This is meant to be the day of celebration, but listen, what can you do? You know, we're in the business of boxing and promotion, things change, and that circumstances, yeah, it kind of put a halt to my Eid day, my celebration, which is obviously massive for me and my family and my religious purpose. But so in the boxing game, we made it happen, and I would negotiate the fight while I was chomping on some chicken roast and some lamb and rice, and they were madness. Not kind of Eid I've celebrated before, but when you get a fight and it's actually made, and you come here and you see him sat next to you, you think, wow, all that stress on Monday night, then phone call, that tension, that palpitation, it was worth it. And we've got a great fight. Listen, similar records, 22-1 defeat, 20-1 defeat, both 10 knockouts each. Listen, yeah, this could be a don't blink yourself kind of fight.
Now, look at Brad Rea. He's been waiting for an opportunity. Is this just a message to fighters? Just stay ready.
Stay ready, stay focused. You've seen it recently with Josh Padley, Ismail Davis. Stay in shape. I know it's hard as a fighter because you want a training camp and it's so intense as a fighter. You wanted to relax and have a bit of a joyful time, but he stayed in shape. He stayed on weight. Of course, there's a ruling of how much weight you've got to make with a British Boxing Board of Control ruling of 3-day weight checking. So you've got to be under 180 pounds on Tuesday. So I got to Monday thinking, which fighter is going to be ready, prepared to take this fight and be within weight within 3 days. There's not many there to choose from. Either they're contracted within a promotion outfit, they don't want to fight. Either they're not in training and not going to make the weight, or they don't want the fight, or they're not going to be eligible for the European title. Bradley Rea ticked all of them, and he made the weight, and he's here. What an opportunity! This is a life-changing opportunity for Bradley Rea, and I believe he's got nothing to lose.
Now, Hughie Fury signed a promotional contract with GBM. What's the plans for him, providing he beats Dan Garber, who you were saying up there, you think this is a very live fight?
Yeah, listen, it's not going to be as straight as forward as you think. Dan Garber's come off a couple of wins. They've got a bit of rivalry with each other. They know each other from the sparring, of family kind of history they've got. And he sold a few tickets. I don't think he's sold them tickets to see his family see him get beaten up or bust up by Hughie Fury. I think it's a win, a fight I expect that Hughie to win. I expect him to put a good fight on as well, and put a good display on, really kind of let people know that Hughie Fury's real deal. And then Hughie's back. He's got to have the bigger fights, them tune-up fights. This is his last one, and then he's got to be chucked in there with the big names out of boxing. And let's mix with the big boys. Peter Fury believes Hughie's got it. Hughie believes he belongs there. Go on then, let's get him made. Let's get these fights made this summer.
Who are some of the names people could look at?
Look, Dave Allen fight could have happened if he didn't get the Johnny Fisher fight. That's a fight. I like the Dillian White fight. Maybe let's see what happens with Joyce Hergovich. I like that kind of fight. I know he spoke about your Joshuas and your Usyks, but obviously, look, it's a numbers game. You've got to see what risk and reward is, and I understand the commercial elements to it. And Joshua's team are probably looking at some other kind of fights. Maybe there's talks of the Jake Paul stuff, which I think is absolutely pathetic. I don't think he should do it. I love Joshua. I think his legacy will be dented, but his pockets might be increased a lot. But surely, when you get to a certain level, it's not just about more finance. But Hughie Fury, we've signed him on the basis he mixes with these big boys. And let's see. Let's get Friday night done with Dan Garber, and then let's go for a big fight. I want a big night for Hughie Fury.
Now you, Eddie and Frank all on DAZN. Does that make life easier to make fights?
It does. Look, of course. And also DAZN are smart. They want to be the home of boxing. They want to get the best promoters in the country. And I believe they're not far wrong there. I believe they've seen something in GBM. They've seen the kind of trajectory we've got. They've seen the kind of objectives of our outlook of our team. And yeah, we're on there. The fight's happened. You've seen us make Terry Harper fight extremely easy. I've got a good relationship with Matchroom now. I've got a good relationship with Queensbury. And I'm the new generation of promoter. I don't want the bullshit beef and he said this and he said. I respect them in their own ways. That don't mean I don't look after my interest and my well-being of my outfit, my fighters. I'm not one to surrender to anybody, but I also respect Frank Warren and how resilient he is. I respect Eddie Hearn. I respect Ben Shalom for a young man, how he's got the biggest platform in the country, was one of the biggest platforms in the country. And I believe DAZN is as good as anybody in the world to watch boxing. I really do. I think it's a home of boxing. It is the home of boxing, isn't it? And we're fortunate we're there. But yeah, I'll make fights happen, and I'm ready to work. I'm ready to make the fights happen. Cross promotion outfits. Let's make the fights. Let's make boxing great again, which I believe it is. Let's make them fights that people want to see and the fans want to see.
Just on the promoter beef and all of this, I remember speaking to Ben Shalom a couple of years ago, and he was like, I don't want to be that guy who gets involved and things like that. And now he is pretty much involved in the back and forth. Do you honestly think there's no time that will happen to you, or do you feel like that could at some point happen?
Look, I'm always going to defend my rights and defend my fighters and my business and my products, but I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to leave myself open for controversy or fallouts. I'm rather get on the phone a bit old school. Let's get on the phone. Let's sit down and sort stuff out for the issue. But sometimes it's for numbers. I get that. It's sometimes to get for algorithm and all that. But I just believe I believe in my product. I'm extremely confident as a promoter. I'm extremely confident in our products as a production outfit, as the matches we're going to make, as a whole promotion outfit. So I just concentrate on us being good and bettering myself as the promoter. And at least I might get it, but I'll see how I deal with it. But listen, I'm not one that you want to have an open debate with, because I will give it back, but they might see a side to me you're not seeing out on these. But I don't want to show that side that the argumentative, going back and forth with promoter, telling the old shit. And listen, I'm here to make the big fights. I'm here to make a legacy for myself, my family, my community. I don't believe there'll be a promoter like me, like coming from the background I've come from, being an ex-professional fighter, ex-amateur fighter, non-profit making gym owner. I believe I bring something different, and yeah, I'm just enjoying the journey. But we made some statement in 3 years, haven't we?
Absolutely. Just not trying to get you involved in a back and forth, but just from a promoter's perspective, we've seen sort of this week the talk about Liam Cameron, and he wasn't happy about apparently Ben Shalom trying to change the rounds. What did you make of that situation from a promoter's perspective, and does that stuff happen behind the scenes?
Listen, mistakes always happen. It's a big mistake to make, because you should have a legal team to make sure you go over the contracts, but I don't really know much about it. I know Liam, obviously, who I've boxed. I made my pro debut on the same card as Liam Cameron, so I actually boxed. I've known Liam for a long time. He's brilliant what he's done for himself and his family. I don't really know too much about it. I don't know exactly what's happened. See, the thing is, I don't listen to too much what you see online. I've not seen the back and forth from Ben. I've seen Liam come out saying they're trying to make me a 10-rounder, but I'm sure he'll get it sorted out. And that normally sorts a lot of things out. So they'll both be happy in the fight that's got to happen. The public want it, and yeah, it's going to be a great spectacle as well.
Lastly, obviously we've got the Eubank Benn fight April 26th. What are your thoughts on it? And do you agree with, Ricky Hatton came out and said he feels that Ben has more hunger and that will give him the edge in this fight? Who are you backing?
It's a close one. I really think it's close one. I think Billy Joe beats them both. Not on the same night, but he beats them both. I really do, different level. I like Conor Benn. I know he come to our last York Road show, so on that basis, I think potentially got a bit more hunger. Potentially the one who's, I said Chris probably already kind of not made his mark in the game, but probably achieved a bit more than Conor Benn. I can feel like Conor, especially with the last couple of years he had, I feel like he's got a lot to prove. So maybe he has got more hunger. Maybe he's got more desire. Maybe he's got a bit more to prove. So Conor Benn probably has that little bit edge, and Ricky's probably got right to say that. But it's a close one. Size is going to play a big factor in it, and yeah, it's exciting. It's got a lot of history to it, a lot of rivalry. I think it's genuine rivalry and all. I don't think it's like for the numbers. Yeah, the numbers done great, and the egg smashing in the face, which I didn't agree with, by the way. I think we're below the belt to use an object and smash it in anybody's face. It's not something I'd encourage as opposed to the fights, but it happens. He's done the numbers, and good luck to them both. But the show's going to be an absolute sellout. I'm sure it'll do big numbers online, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Very last one. Are you the guy to bring back Billy Joe Saunders? Have you had any chats with him about coming back?
Well, last year there was real close talks with Chris Eubank's team, and we were very close. Contracts were on table. There were like good money on the table. There were talks about a comeback fight for Billy Joe, and that were going to happen on the GBM card. And look, we're good friends, but Billy also understands I can promote as good as anybody. Give me the fighters and I can promote, and that's the thing. He's having the fighters are your assets as a promoter. And now that we've got DAZN, our broadcasting partner, supporting us and backing us, listen, Billy Joe, I think he's going to be there Friday night. I think I've heard rumours. Obviously, got a lot of mutual friends. Louis Edmondson's going to be there. I like heavyweight to see who wins, a British champion, and I've heard Billy's going to be there. So look, who knows? Billy does what he wants. He'll be a friend of mine regardless whether he signs with me or signs anywhere with me, and he'll always be a friend, and I'll be there. He's always advised me and he's told me stuff what he thinks, and I'm vice versa. But who knows? Maybe we could see a 2025 signing of Billy Joe Saunders with GBM. Stranger things have happened.
Brilliant. Izzy, appreciate the time. We'll see you Friday, and if not, on DAZN.
Thank you very much.